Yo, what up though, YouTube? It's your man, it's your boy DJ King David, the neighborhood favorite, for another hip hop story live from Detroit. We're gonna take it back to the late 90s, early 2000 era Detroit hip hop. If you've been watching my stories, this story right here will fall in between the bizarre story and the pace one and outsider story. And this story right here was about the group that I was in that made a lot of noise on the underground, opened a lot of doors for me. The infamous Mountain Climbaz. Mountain Climbaz was started in '97 when Strike, aka Lickity Split from the movie 8 Mile, and Journalist 103 met at a job. And Strike was already in the group previous to the Mountain Climbaz. He was in a group called PMO, Poor Man's Orchestra. After Poor Man's Orchestra dissolved, Strike met journalists and they started the Mountain Climbaz. Now in '97, I wasn't involved in the hip hop scene as of yet as an artist. So I'm still on the outskirts just peeping stuff, you know what I'm saying, buying people's albums and supporting the shows and going to the parties and things of that nature. So by '98, I'm DJing for Frfr, aka Sleepy Hollow, which consisted of Boom, Idol, Ichabod Crane, and Skins. And I was their DJ. And we ended up doing the show with the Mountain Climbaz at the Motor Lounge over in Hamtramck. That was my first time actually being on the show with the Mountain Climbaz. And at this point, Striking Journalists had expanded the group to include Shoulder Khan, Bear the Untamed Beast, and Swan. Some of y'all may remember Swan from Ballin. He was on MTV back in the day, early 2000s, for doing the battle raps. So after a while, I ended up leaving the Frfr Sleepy Hollow camp, and I wasn't with the group anymore. But I was DJing at Cafe Mahogany like crazy, and I was on air. I was at the Up Top show with P Groove, DJ Dez, and KOB on 88.1 over in Highland Park, or RJ Watkins at his station. So my name was still ringing bells, and I was still the new guy, and I got along with all the other DJs, so they would let me come on at their events and get on their sets. And I was really grinding, still making a name for myself, and I still wanted to be in the group. So I actually met journalists first. He would come down to Mahogany a lot. Him and Agony Jihad, the son of Ray, they was hanging real tough. And I would always build with them. You know, even when the club let out, we would just sit out in the park across from Mahogany, sit over there and just kick it. You know what I'm saying? Just talk about life. I didn't know that he was actually like interviewing me to see what type of dude I was, because at the time, him and Strike was looking for a DJ to be in the group. You know what I'm saying? They didn't want to freelance with DJs. They wanted a permanent DJ. And journalists had heard about me being a free agent. So I guess him and Strike had a meeting, or, you know, he had told Strike about me. And at this point, Strike was living in Pontiac. So he actually came down to the city and came down to the club one night, and I was spending that night. And after I got done spending, him and journalists just came up on me like, we want you to be down with the group, you know, like a permanent member. So for a long time, it was just me, Striking journalists. We was doing our thing. And then we had a dude named Piranha that got down with us through management, because we was being co-managed by Good Life Entertainment. That's Kenny Goodlife and Kenya Cook. They was co-managing us along with Juan Shannon for a minute. And Piranha was their artist, and we jailed with him real good. So on our early release, it was actually a cassette. We pressed up maybe 100 copies of it. Piranha's on there rhyming, because YG wasn't in the group yet. And then how we met YG, well, how I met YG, she's Striking journalists, both Muslim. They were members of the Masjid Hawk community over on Joy Road, near Dexter, between Dexter and Grand River. Shout out to all the Ox, you know what I'm saying? over there. You know what I'm saying? Peace and all that. And that's how Jawad became affiliated with the group through the Muslim community. So at this point, D12. Now I consult. Let me rewind a little bit. Before I got with the group, I actually told them, let me think about it for a minute, and I talked to Bazaar because Bazaar was kind of like my mentor at this point. You know, we were just kicking about. You know, Bazaar wanted to see me win. You know what I'm saying? So he would school me on certain shit. So I told him like, I'm about to get down with the Mountain Climbers. You think that's a good move? He said that'd be a good look for you because them boys is working. And at the time when I met them, they had a cassette single and they had a 12-inch vinyl, and it was pressed up professionally. So, you know, that definitely was like a green light that let me know they was, you know, serious about really shopping their music and getting it out here. So I met Jawad, Animal Chief, YG, at a high school party that we did. Actually, it wasn't a party; it was the show. Well, actually, it was an after party also, but we were doing shows with D12. This is when Eminem came back to the city and was taking D12 around to different spots, and we ended up doing River Ridge High School. And I met Jawad like backstage before the show. He was a senior at Finney at the time, so our group was different because we had a dude that was in high school in the group now, and we all the three of us we were well out of high school. Like it was a big age difference, but the music, the energy was just so crazy. It just gelled. Anybody who listened to Mountain Climbers music back then know we had some classics. You know what I'm saying? We never rehearsed for any shows. It just the natural energy. And that's what got us on these shows. Like we did a lot of shows because the promoters knew that if they got us up there, that we was going to give a good show every time. We never flop. You know what I'm saying? I remember before I got with the group, we was at the radio station, me, P Groove, and Dez, and the Mountain Climbers was opening for De La at the State Theater. And we was able to go through the back door and go up through the dressing room area and watch the show from the top, like look down on the show from the side of the stage. It was crazy. And they had picket signs. They had these big picket signs that said Mountain Climbers, and they had the artwork on it. It's like, okay, they really gonna make you remember them because it's all these years later. I remember that specifically. I can't remember any song or any lyric, but I remember them being out there with picket signs. And I'm pretty sure that anyone that was at that show can say the same thing, that those picket signs made them stand out. See, the Mountain Climbers always had something different about the stage shows that made you just remember them. So I wanted to do mix CDs. So my first mix CDs was Mountain Climba CD, Mountain Climbers Volume 1. I talked about that in the other videos that's on here. You know what I'm saying? It was Mountain Climbers, D12, and Outsiders. Because that was the squad that we was running with, that was putting us up on game, putting us in the game. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's how I ended up being with the Mountain Climbers. It was actually at Cafe Mahogany that it came together. You know what I'm saying? I was with the crew for 8 years. We did a lot. You know what I'm saying? We opened for De La. But actually, they opened for De La before I was in the group. But when I became a member, we opened up for Daz Effects and Black Sheep in the Shelter. We had Nigerian on stage with us that night. It was crazy. We opened up for Ludacris at the State Theater. And that night was really crazy. Journalists had came to pick me up for the show. And on the way to the show, I had them pull over to the store right here in the hood on the craft so I could run in the store and grab some blunts. Well, I didn't know he came in behind me. To this day, I don't know why he came in the store behind me. He could have just sat in the car, kept the car running because we was running late for this show to open for Ludacris, but I had to get some blunts. So long story short, he locked the keys in the car. So we opening for Ludacris, we running late, we on Schoolcraft. The show at the State Theater, and the keys locked in the car. Not a good look. But it was a nice warm day, and a lot of people was out in the air, so I was able to get one of my Hot Wheel boys to get us into the car right quick so we can go on with our mission. And it was crazy because as soon as we pulled up, it jumped out the car beside the stage. Stage manager was like, I hope you guys are ready because you're on in 2 minutes. So we literally jumped out the car, ran into the building, and the curtains was open. So I walked out first with some records up under my arm, went to the DJ booth. I always have a microphone back there. Got my stuff queued up. And I said, what up, though, Detroit? The Mountain Climbers in the building. DJ King David, school crap, bitch. And everybody went crazy. Ah! And the music starts off with an explosion. Boom. Mountain Climbers. Mountain Climbers. And they came out, and it was just crazy. We never had no records on the radio. Like, we don't have a Detroit anthem that everybody knows. But people who went to those shows was like, them boys are something different. And we sold a lot of mix CDs. Shout out to everybody who bought the Mountain Climbaz mix CDs back in the day. Part 1 with the Outsiders and D12. And part 2 when Animals Attack. You know what I'm saying? We went crazy on the mix CDs. The Mountain Climbaz was the first Detroit hip-hop group to do mix CDs as a group. That's a fact. Can't nobody argue with that. When nobody doing mix CDs before us. And most groups didn't have DJs. You know what I'm saying? I did an 8-year run with the Climbers. So we did some joints. And we went on tour with Method Man. Shout out to Meth. Meth, Street Life, A Lot of Mathematics, Spectre Deck, Master Killer. 2006, the 421, the day after tour. We did the whole Midwest. It was just me and Strike. We killed every show. Shout out to all them colleges out there. Special shout out to University of Indiana out in Bloomington. Yo, that was so much fun. First time I ever had Captain Crunch ice cream. Yeah, Bloomington was good to us. Word. Shout out to the train wreck. Starks like this. Indiana had it going on. Word, for real. Yeah, but I ain't gonna talk y'all death. I just wanted to give y'all the story of how I got down with the Mountain Climbers and some of the adventures of the Climbers. It's crazy because when I got with them in like 99, a year and a half later, we shooting the 8 Mile movie. It's just, things just really went fast for us. Lots of shows, lots of going to the outhouse. Shout out to the whole Outsiders. You know how we get it in. Shout out to Diesel Don. I can't talk about the Mountain Climbers and not say what up to my man D Don. Diesel Don. You know what I'm saying? Everybody up there in Spanish Harlem, everybody in the bricks. Rest in peace to Gov Matic. You know what I'm saying? Diesel Don, the governor. The true underground heads know about Diesel Don and the governor. You know what I'm saying? Go do your homework. Go do your underground homework. You say you hip hop, you know what I'm saying? It's levels to this shit, you know what I'm saying? We was affiliated, we was moving and shaking for real. Mountain Climbers we was doing our thing out here when we was out here doing our thing. So make sure you show love to everybody in the group, you know what I'm saying? You can Google them. Everybody had individual projects. And I think new music. I think Strike got some new stuff out, you know what I'm saying? Google Strike Cash, you know what I'm saying? Google Journalist 103. You know what I'm saying? He had some stuff on Nature Sounds, and then he had a joint called The Left. That was pretty hot. And my man YG, Animal Chief. You know what I'm saying? Google, he got some joints out. He recorded with Gucci Mane, all types of crazy shit. Freeway. Yeah, man, the Climbers, you definitely cannot talk about Detroit underground hip hop in the late 90s, early 2000s, and not mention the Mountain Climbers. Because if you do that, you're missing some of the story. You know what I'm saying? Niggas know. You know what I'm saying? Niggas better stop acting like they don't know. Like the climbers wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? We was part of the whole Lush Lounge uh, legacy. You know what I'm saying? We did the first show after Lush, and people don't know. They want to act like they forgot, but I got the flyer. When the Lush first started, I was the guest DJ. I would do a 20-minute set. It was like an intermission. And then it got to the point where it was so many people on the list, we had to stop doing the intermission and just run straight show to make sure everybody got on stage. But if you was at Lush at the very beginning, you know your history. We helped put the Lush where it was at. Shout out to Ike Love. That's my man from high school. You know what I'm saying? I met Ike Love in '88. That's been my man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to In the Mix. Y'all don't even know about In the Mix when they had the CD booth at Fairlane in front of City Man. You know what I'm saying? I just sell mad mix CDs out their booth. And then In the Mix ended up doing the DJ Clue party at St. Andrews for New Year's. Y'all don't even remember that, you know what I'm saying? And it was like so many DJs. If you was a hot DJ in Detroit at the time, you spun that party. I got the flyer for that at my mom's crib. I'ma dig it up. It's over 25 to 30 of the hottest DJs in the city that spun that night and had a spot. And yeah, you know I was on the bill for that. You know what I'm saying? Mountain Climbers era history is crazy. It's just a shame that we didn't have more video of that era. Like the Lush Lounge video footage would have been off the hook. I'm pretty sure some of it out here, but whoever has it, they being stingy with it. And put that shit on YouTube. For real, whoever got Cafe Mahogany footage, share some of it. Those is legend. That's a legendary time period for Detroit that people don't talk about. You know what I'm saying? Dorelle came out at the Cafe Mahogany scene. You know what I'm saying? Like he would be in there singing while we rhyming, and actually was rhyming at first. That's a whole different chapter. I'm gonna do a Cafe Mahogany story too. But yeah, the Mountain Climbers definitely was part of the DNA for the whole late 90s, early 2000s Detroit hip hop movement. Can't say that we wasn't there because we was there. You know what I'm saying? So again, shout out to Strike, journalists, YG. You know what I'm saying? We made a lot of history together. You know, I wish all you guys the best of luck in your endeavors. And it's always going to be that legacy that we always are tied into. You know what I'm saying? No matter where we go in our careers, Mountain Climbers was the seed that sprouted a lot of branches. And I'm proud to be a part of that legacy and to contribute to a good energy that end up producing some classics for the city and for the underground as a whole. To all the kids out there that's been collecting the Mountain Climbers music over the years, salute to y'all. We appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Right now, speaking for the group, we appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Because the climbers got it out the mud, for real. When they say get out the mud, we were some of the first motherfuckers getting it out the mud. Believe that. Shout out to the whole HP. Shout out to Louise and Hamilton. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to my nigga Geechee Dan. You know what I'm saying? Off of Hamilton. Shout out to the Easy Pick. Y'all know about that. I used to be over Hamilton with them boys. Ain't no joke. You know what I'm saying? All gun smoke. But salute. 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 DJ King David. The only DJ that was in the Mountain Climbers. Word. Support Detroit hip hop. Appreciate y'all for watching. And y'all need y'all to like this, share it, talk about it, give me some comments, comment section, and subscribe to the channel. I got some more hip hop stories coming for y'all from the Detroit Underground. I was in the trenches with the Detroit Underground movement, and we're gonna tell these stories, and we're gonna tell them thoroughly and efficiently and correctly. You feel me? So I ain't gonna talk y'all to death. You know how I get down. DJ King David. Salute. Detroit hip hop forever. Peace.